Well, we're continuing our video series on what makes a successful NFT project. Is it the art, the PFP, the tokenomics, the team, a collection of it all? How do you build a powerful community? And what are some of the things that you can do to make success more likely in your NFT project? Whether you're a project founder or a member of an NFT community, this is going to be a series of videos where we explore insights that other NFT project founders have given us on what the process looks like and how we can do everything in our power to drive a powerful project and community forward. So today we're going to be looking at Will. Will is the founder and creator of the Littles, which is a cool project on Ethereum network. You can go to thelittles.io and see what they've got going on over here, but it's 10,000 dreamers, explorers, and mischief makers looking for new friends. And they've got a cool little kind of video game arcade that you can play with. We might jump into that at the end of the video. But the Littles NFT is an interesting look into what it takes to not only launch a project, but to successfully launch a game with it, attach some utility, and grow a powerful community. So let's see what Will has to say. Will says, first and foremost, and make sure that you click through to Will's Twitter profile and give Will a follow. A lot of good info there. I'll also link the Littles Twitter profile. This is going to be a high-level overview of what Will thinks is required for a successful NFT project, and obviously there's more insights in his feed. So let's dive in. First, Will says we need to identify your niche. The reason why PFP projects succeed is way beyond the art. It's not about the fox, bears, toads, apes, cats, etc. It's about filling a certain void in the marketplace. It's about serving a certain demographic and invoking a certain feeling. So the art can kind of be a signal, almost like you would send the bat signal up in order to bring Batman. The art can be a signal to attract the type of people that you want in your community, but then there also has to be some follow through on that and some additional kind of underlying groundwork on what that community is going to be so that people can raise their hand and say, yes, I want to be a part of that community. So Will says, an example, Bored Ape Yacht Club hits the hype beast kind of crowd, underground trendy type. Cool Cats hits the family fun crowd, wholesome. Cybercoms hits the token reward crowd, bananas equal dollars. Start your project with identifying the niche you're serving and the feeling you want people to have. So with NFTreasure, one of the demographics that we're really going after is dead NFT projects. Obviously, we work with any NFT project, but there are so many NFT projects that started with a really powerful community and then they either ran out of money or they weren't able to deliver on utility. And because of that, they need some way to grow a community purse again. And so our project, NFTreasure, allows them to create a physical merchandise loop so that they can gift or create the opportunity for people in their community to have a t-shirt or a poster or a canvas that represents that moment in time for them in NFTs as they were learning NFTs, as they were growing that community. And the benefit is that the project can then take some of the revenue from that and either distribute it to their holders or put it into a community purse that their holders can determine what to do, maybe build out some new utility use case that brings the project back to life. So the demographic that we're going to are eager communities that have a lot of enthusiasm but need some kind of utility in order to really take their project to the next level. So Will says, number 2, what is your mark? NFTs are still in a stage of evolution. We're all trying to find the sweet spot that gains mass adoption. First came art, then collectibles, gaming, etc. What is your vision and what value would you like to add to the marketplace? So this could be everything from thinking about it as a fashion brand, where really the purpose of a fashion brand is to inspire confidence and inspire a feeling in someone by giving them something that they can wear that represents a value that they agree with. A lot of NFT projects are brand projects, and brands are designed to aggregate people around an emotion or around an ideal. And so maybe your NFT project really wants to champion a certain message. With the Littles, the message that they're championing is that they want to seize the memes of production from the serious grown-ups and put them in the hands of everyone who wants to create cool schniz, play with friends, and have a lot of fun. And so they're basically, if you read through the manifesto that they have, they're talking about how so many projects are Ponzi's or are math heavy or are all about just making money, and they really wanted to create a community around people that were looking for adventure, maybe a little bit mischievous, and looking for other people in Web3 to connect with on that level. Having a manifesto or something that kind of identifies the personality of your project can be a great way to identify your mark as a project. Again, with NFTreasure, we kind of have like a business in the front, Degen in the back type mullet situation going, where we took everything that we learned from our Degen roots, where we were in massively high APR projects that were just not sustainable and ultimately failed. So that's the inner gambler in us. So like that's the adrenaline junkie in us. But then we paired that with responsible learning. From that experience, we learned how to create tokenomics and systems of reward that are actually sustainable and that are not so directly connected to the crypto market. Because our tokenomics are sustained by e-commerce sales, that means that regardless of what the crypto market is doing, we have a product that we can sell, just like you would sell something at Target or a fashion brand would sell something at the mall. And so we're looking to create a brand around that responsible Degen, right? And your NFT project will have to determine who your avatar is and who your core community is, so that you can create content that connects with them. It's almost like we understand that jumping in NFTreasure, we understand that jumping out of the plane is fun, but we want to make sure that everybody has the proper education to be able to do that in a safe way. And when you understand the rules of jumping out of a plane, that's when you can put the wingsuit on. That's when you can do all the cool flying stunts. And really, that's where the point that we're at in crypto, I think, is, okay, we had our Degen fun, and now let's learn the rules. Let's learn some of the underlying foundational principles of what makes someone successful in crypto and NFTs. And let's build a community that's excited about learning that together, sharing best practices, and still making money, like making some bets, placing some bets, and recognizing that with NFTs and if a project is structured properly, creativity really can be the currency. And with our NFTreasure e-commerce marketplace, the goal is for us to allow anyone to design anything that comes to mind, whether they use an AI tool like Midjourney or whether they're a traditional artist. Upload that, immediately convert it to an NFT. That NFT turns into 50 products right away. We have fashion designers on our team that you can consult with for, the best way to present certain design ideas in a clothing or brand fashion. And then you get to take a commission anytime those products sell, or raise money for your project by having an IRL product offering to give to your 3 to 6 to 10,000 holders. So Will says simply copy and pasting others' projects isn't going to cut it. Crypto plus NFTs is all about innovation. And when you click through on the Littles page to their link tree here, you can see the little playside game that they've created. And I'll just quickly show you what it looks like, because it's cool. Like, if seeing this really makes you interested to learn more about the project. And so you can kind of go through this little town and, play with these different things, go into the arcade. And then if you have one of these little guys, you get to play arcade games. And anyhow, check that out because it's cool. But it's different, right? It's not a copy and paste. And for better or worse, one of the reasons that we've spent so much time building out our play to earn game and refining the tokenomics, making sure that they're sustainable, is that we could have easily copied and pasted, one of the other DeFi engines that are out there, but we built out our own model in a way that we feel will allow the project to continue to grow and thrive. And when you're not copying and pasting, building things from scratch does take time. So number 3 reason that Will puts forward for having a successful NFT project is team assembly. The people that Will recommends are an artist who obviously generates the art, a generative artist or developer. So this is someone that takes that art and combines it in an algorithmic way to create all of the different traits and variations. A back-end developer who writes the smart contracts, a back-end developer who creates the mint site, a front-end developer who creates the visual side of the mint site, a community manager who runs the Discord and Twitter management, marketer, which are people that help organize collaborations and outreach, especially around launch, and then the founder, whose job is to be the cheerleader, water boy, etc., to wear basically whatever hat needs to be worn. So these are all roles that we have covered and on our team right now in NFTreasure, and it has been an interesting process as each of these people gets to know one another and understands the style of creativity and workflow. And we're really getting to a cohesive place as a team where when we launch, it's going to be really fun to, one, share in the success of what we've all been building, but two, be able to take feedback from a larger audience. Will says, now keep in mind, the people on this team list can wear multiple hats. A founder can be both the artist or the marketer, while a dev can be full stack, meaning front and back end, etc. Make sure you scout out enough talent before beginning your project. And I think this is a big one here, is that it's easy to get excited and just immediately jump in with the first person that you interview. And in this project, we've gone through, we've kept some of our core development team, but some of our sub developers, we've gone through several that didn't work out. And one of the things that I think is interesting that I've been using more and more of is creating little small projects to see if you're a good fit with someone. So on our video yesterday, we highlighted a partnership with Wonderverse, where we're going to start using Wonderverse's project management for Web3 communities. This is basically like an Asana task board or a teamwork portal where you can assign different features that you want built out. And then there's a whole community of over, I think, 20,000 developers and artists and designers on Wonderverse that can come in and participate in your project. So you say, okay, we want this feature out. We're going to give X amount of crypto as a bounty. And basically when they complete it, they submit their code to that task. Someone on the team can review it. And if it's approved, then the smart contract immediately issues crypto to them as a bounty for that task. This can be a way for you to try someone out, see if your personalities work well together, if you have the same type of working style. and really understand, I think, first and foremost, like, how does someone respond to challenges? Because it's very easy to work with someone when everything is straightforward and working the way that it's intended. But when something goes wrong, when there's an error in the code, when there's new features that have to not only be coded, but actually, from a philosophical standpoint, there have to be decisions that need to be made. Like, is this person going to be able to respond to those things? And if you define some kind of a small task that allows you to work with them for 5 or 10 hours, you can learn a lot about that person and determine, is this the right fit for a longer term engagement? Number 4 on Will's list is timeline. Allocate no less than 2 months to launch your project. Obviously, this depends on your expertise, team, and efficiency. Set a launch date, then add an extra 2 weeks. Do things right. Don't cut corners. Triple check your work. So, we've said time and time again in our own project that we want to make sure that the community is confident in what's being released, and not just release it because we are eager to get it out the door. Too many projects, I think, become hostage to a community that is anxious for the product to be released. And I feel really grateful for the community that we've had, because even though we've run into some hiccups and timelines have gotten extended, what the breathing room that our community has allowed us to do is build a stronger product, one that is audited, one that is peer reviewed, and one that's actually going to work in a way that when it does launch is going to be a much more satisfying experience for everyone. And that's going to be way better than had we launched with a bunch of bugs or errors, and then we basically just lose any momentum that we originally create on launch. Next on Will's list is budget. Ranges. So Will's saying that budget ranges as some devs take a percentage of sales, meaning of mint sales, while others are going to be willing to do a higher flat rate. Typically, it's going to be 10 to 30% or $50 to $100,000 for the dev part. Artwork ranges widely depending on the style and effort, and is typically $10,000 to $50,000. And this is in line with what we've seen in the people that we've hired. Obviously, you can get people for less, but then sometimes they're more prone to hiccups, or they're working on multiple things at once. For somebody that's full-time, these numbers seem in line with most of what we've seen in our own project. And obviously, as you add more and more developers and more people to the team, that budget expands from there. Will says, depending on your confidence of the series, percentage is good if you're not certain you'd sell out. So when you're working with your developer, if you don't know that you already have a community in place, that's eager to buy a mint, or if you're minting a number of pieces and you're not sure you're going to be able to mint the entire collection out, well, then you might want to negotiate percentage because it's uncertain if you're going to mint the entire collection, correct? But if you're certain you can mint out your entire collection, then it probably, makes sense if you have it up front to create a flat rate, because that's just going to make you more money on the back end. If you have any of these skills, meaning the skills that he's recommended for your team assembly, obviously your costs are going to go down significantly. And one of the reasons that we're rewriting our code in TypeScript and setting everything up to have AI automations and error checks in GitHub, and then releasing everything in a way where it can be easily peer reviewed and pull requests can be easily approved by our team, is that moving forward, the goal is to decentralize our project, and every NFT project is going to have to think about how centralized versus decentralized do they want to be. Is everything going to live on a central server that one person controls and pays for, or is it going to use a series of nodes or IPFS and other things to host the site in a way where multiple people can have access to it, and ultimately a community can vote, where those powers live. We're taking a hybrid model where, we had our community elect an initial team, we'll get to launch and get everything in motion. And then we'll put in some additional governance procedures so that we can have a board of directors and a team that is helping make sure that every voice in the community is heard. And so the goal as we decentralize and grow our development community is that by opening up our development talent pool, we will be able to have a more interesting insight on best practices for building out certain features and find people that can do those things efficiently and are interested in having their work recognized by our community. And as we bring more and more developers on board, we feel that our project can be a really interesting showcase for developers who are looking to add to their portfolio to have a lens put on their work. And then obviously we'll have bounties available to reward those people on a monetary level as well. Number 6 is marketing. Will says, marketing is all about painting a vision of the future that people get excited about. Choose a marketing tactic that works for you. So hype, we've seen that, especially in the late 2020, early 2021s. Hype marketing was the way to launch an NFT project or a DeFi project. FOMO, we've seen a lot of in NFTs. Scarcity is around limited collection sizes or tokenomics. Brand collabs, basically partnering with other well-established brands. Influencers, paying or partnering with influencers to push it out to their larger audience and potentially, giving them some kind of an affiliate commission on anything that they bring in. Running contests. Obviously, there's not any one that you're going to go with. You're going to have a mix and match, and you've seen us dabble in a few of these. Paid ads is the one that I think is going to be most relevant long term for NFTreasure, because one of the interesting things about NFTreasure is that since we do have physical products that we're promoting, we can run advertising that is self-sustaining. So if it costs us $5 to acquire a new customer, basically get them to purchase something, and so it costs $5 in advertising, but then they buy something that has a $10 markup, we basically made $5, we covered the cost of the ads, and now we have an additional $5 to run another ad. And so this means that we have an eternal loop of funding for bringing new people into the project. And this is going to be a cool experiment for us to showcase just a different way of promoting an NFT project. And obviously, as people engage with those physical products, we'll have educational or infotainment content via email, text, etc., that informs them of the crypto backend, the play to earn functionality, and the ability for them to take any design, turn that into an NFT, and start making revenue when those physical products sell. And then the last is build in public. That's what I'm doing right now. And starting a YouTube channel or jumping into Twitter Spaces, making sure that you're active in your own project's Discord, and really just kind of pulling the curtain back and showcasing what's going on. Right now, one of the cool things that's happening in our Discord is we have a lot of people in our community that have signed up to be a part of our promoter group. And so anytime we put out a tweet or a video, we can engage that part of our community to give some early traction to our videos, which then encourages the algorithms to push that content out to a wider audience. Ultimately, that brings more people into our project and our Discord, and then those people sign up to be promoters, and you can see how this can have an exponential effect. We're also showcasing how to build a YouTube channel. I share all of the YouTube stats in our Discord. I showcase the keywords that we're targeting, some of the ways that we're thinking about content, which videos flopped, which videos did well, and We discuss why that might be. And then the community brings these threads, to the Discord so that we're covering content on NFT threads that's important to them. If you'd like to see that process and it's not just the YouTube channel. We go behind the scenes on how we're working with developers, how we're thinking about the PFP that we're going to potentially add to our project, ways that we're thinking about marketing. All of those things are discussions that happen in our Discord. And so building in public right now has been a really great way for us to concrete our community and create glue that holds us together so that we have a really potent group of early adopters, so that when we do launch and start promoting to a wider audience, when people join our Discord, it's already going to be a very active place. All right, Will says a combo of these, meaning these marketing types, would work very well. Be very careful not to overpromise and underdeliver. We've seen what happens in many projects when that goes down, and it's easy to get caught up in your own enthusiasm, right? Like a lot of times you want something to happen and you say it out loud, and then for one reason or another, the developers take longer than it should, or the market shifts. And so, one of the things that I've had to learn over the last year is to really be conscious and cautious about the things that I say out loud. We want discussion on as many different topics in our project as possible, but we also don't want to create hopium for the sake of hopium. When there's good news, let's share it, but let's try not to say things just to get the community off our back. I think I've been pretty good about that, throughout. I've always given the information that I have, but it's hard. I can say, as somebody that, is constantly talking to a live community on Twitter, in Twitter Spaces and on YouTube, it is difficult to watch every word that you say, because there are times in the project where momentum is happening and you're getting excited and you think it's all going to come together right away. And then if you say that out loud, people raise their expectations. And if you don't meet those goals, those expectations can be dashed and ruin the momentum in your project. And so being very cautious about what you share and caveating everything with realistic goals and timelines is obviously valuable, whether you're engaging in a Twitter space that's off the cuff or putting together marketing materials. Will says, if your project is good and if you have good work ethic, there is no need to do paid marketing plus any black hat tactics. And I agree with that. I mean, I think one of the most exciting things happening right now is seeing how quickly our YouTube channel is growing under completely organic premises, just sharing openly about what's working in the NFT space right now and the things that we're learning as we build out NFTreasure, I think has been a value add for those that are subscribing, and our numbers showcase that. So Will's final thoughts are: be real, be honest, be upfront. There's zero reason not to show your face or to be doxxed. That's one of the reasons that I've got this video up in the corner, so that you can see that I'm a real human being, and be a good person and people will support you. I think this is true. And I think it's also important to ask for the support that you need. It is difficult to build in Web3 because unlike a Web 2 product where there can be an error and it can be easily fixed and deployed to the server, in Web 3, a lot of times contracts, have to be completely replaced if there's an error. And if a contract is invalid or has a security flaw, obviously people can lose a lot of money. And so there's a lot more pressure to make sure that those contracts from start are perfect. And it's one of the reasons that we're going through a dual audit, first with a solo auditor and then with a larger audit company, to make sure that not only is our community confident, but our team is confident in what we've built, because we know that if we're confident in our product, it's going to make it easier for us to promote it, right? And talk about it in a way where we know it's going to work. Under communication, Will says, this is the one and only that will make or break your project. Communicate well and often. We try to do that, like I mentioned, on Twitter, on YouTube, in Discord, and since I started as a community manager over a year ago in Web3, I've really done my best to hold space for people, even when they're having big feelings, so that we can find common ground and then move together on a common goal. Under value, Will says, your one and only job is to deliver value to your supporters. Wake up and repeat this to you and the team. Always find ways to deliver value. And that value can come in the form of information, of camaraderie, of, just, we were talking today on Twitter about just liking somebody's post is a way for you to signal, hey, I'm in your camp. I'm supporting you. I want to see you do well. When you comment on people's Twitter posts, instead of just being a bystander, you move from this one-way broadcast or one-way reception mode and actually move into community mode. And that's really what we're attempting to train our community on how to do is, hey, let's not just support the project, let's support each other, and let's make sure that we're growing all of our accounts collectively, because, 1,000 accounts all at 10,000 followers is way better than one account at 100 or at 100,000 followers. And we can support each other's goals and dreams, because a good NFT project becomes a powerful network that allows you to get things done faster and with more veracity, I suppose. We looked at Solana Monkey Business yesterday. I think the Littles has a similar community where when people come together and recognize, hey, this is my tribe, well, all of a sudden, when you need a developer for your own project, well, there's one in the community. When you need a marketer, we'll use the one that we've used. I mean, that's really my end goal with NFTreasure is we've thrown a lot of noodles against the wall. And fortunately, we've had the budget and the community has given us the time to do that. But on the other end of that, we saw what noodles stick. We have a much deeper understanding of what works in Web3, and it's what's allowed us to start doing Web3 consulting with other projects, both from the fashion aspect of how to create merchandise that a community will love, but also from the development side and the marketing side. There are so many rabbit holes that you can go down and so many things that actually don't work in the space. And having a community that's been there, done that, thrown the noodles on the wall and understands what sticks is going to be powerful. And my hope is that anyone that gets in with one of our founders keys or potentially a PFP, if we decide as a community that we want to do that our founders key, in addition to all the Amazon Prime style benefits that it offers, also offers one of the biggest benefits of putting you in a powerful community that allows you to launch a project quickly just by learning from others' mistakes. So finally, Will says, community, your NFT derives from when people believe in you and your project. The moment people lose trust, they dump and your project goes down the drain. Build your community, build your trust. That's it, friends. I hope you the best of luck. Like, retweet this. I'm going to put a link to this thread in the description of this video. Be sure to follow Will, follow the Littles, and retweet this if it was powerful for you. There are so many different inputs in the NFT world and people telling us how to create successful NFTs. So many consultants DM me on a daily basis, and a lot of them have it wrong. And so the intention with NFT Threads and NFTreasure is to showcase that in community, we can figure out the right way to do all of these things and thrive together. And with the NFTreasure play to earn crypto game and e-commerce DeFi loop that we're building, we're going to be able to have a really interesting experience of showcasing that creativity really is the currency that matters in Web3. So I'm John Ray, project lead for NFTreasure. Let me know what you thought about this thread. What else would you add to creating a successful NFT project? Share your project below. Share what you've learned. We'd love to see your comments, a like and subscribe. Also find us on Twitter, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.